Okay, welcome to this short time lapse. I'm just gonna show you how I did this onion, and as usual I start on this darkened canvas that I darkened with my turpentine and raw umber. Sometimes the raw umber is from Winsor Newton, and sometimes it is from Old Holland. I actually like the Winsor Newton best for that purpose, so because it's quite neutral and it gives me a neutral background, kind of a shadow, so I can fill in all the start building the darkness and light, just basically building light right out of the darkness, and then I fill in, as you see here, just filling in. For me, the painting process is a building process. We call it the painting process. For me, it's also a building process because I build very thick colors some places and thin others to build this relief type of effect. I really love working with Old Holland paint because it's so thick. It has a lot of pigment in it. Most of what's in the tube is actually pigment. So I would highly recommend, if you can afford it, because it's quite expensive colors, to use that as your go-to paint. My brushes is Da Vinci. It's a brand called Da Vinci. And I really like those a lot. So that's what and it is of course boar bristle or boar hair or pig's hair, most of what I'm using. I also use some synthetic, but usually it is just with the boar or pig hair, because if you use synthetic pencils, the brushwork becomes flatter. It's not that easy to get very beautiful brush strokes if you use synthetic pencils, which are very slippery, and you get a surface. Here I'll explain what I did there. What I did there was actually putting on a glaze with turpentine and some blue. I put that glaze over a layer of retouche vernish so it sticks better to the canvas. If I don't do that, well, the glaze is actually my medium, which is basically linseed oil and 70% turpentine. In the glaze I used not a turp by itself, but I used medium. And the retouche vernish makes it a little bit sticky, so when I start, as you can see here, building new layers, the paint sticks better to the surface because of the retouche vernish. This is just things I have figured out for myself. I haven't read it anywhere, I haven't heard anyone say it. I'm just giving you a tip. Maybe it's something for you. There was actually a woman on YouTube who asked me a question why I didn't use, in one of my landscapes with a figure in it. She asked me why I didn't use blue as a grounding color, or the first color which I put on. And the answer to that is just because that's a color. It is not neutral. So it'll actually affect every single color you put on the surface. That is why I use the neutral raw umber as a basis. Here I'm putting on the retouche vernish again, and I put on some glaze again, and then I start working on top of that. So it is basically just building and building and building. If you go to a museum and you look at Rembrandt's paintings, or you look at other classical painters who used a lot of thick colors and a lot of brushwork, like Turner, or you look at Rembrandt, as I said, and other Delacroix, you will always see this this fight with the brushwork, how they build the shapes. Now maybe Delacroix is not such a good example because he was more he was basically the first impressionist, and he dissolved things way more than I would do in my paintings. Of course my sketches are very dissolved, but I'm not trying to make beautiful sketches anymore. I just try to make a basis for what's coming. And painting is basically being able to look into the future and see how your underpaints will actually affect the paints that comes all the way in the end. And that's why you have to be basically a time traveler in your head and try to picture how will this affect the painting in the future. And the same with life actually. If you can start to see what you do and you can predict how your actions in life will affect your life in the future, you will actually start to create a better life. And I followed a few there, so I actually know what I'm talking about. And it's the same thing with painting. So life, painting, everything is quite fascinating. Now we're coming to the end there, and as I always say, give the thumbs up, check out my Patreon. If you maybe want to support my work, you can do that on Patreon. And I think there's a membership option on my YouTube channel soon. Oh, I added one, but I don't know if it's there yet. But anyway, Patreon is the way to go if you want to learn me to teach you how to paint. This is also a Patreon giveaway, so it's a small one of my paintings that I gave to one of my patrons, and I do kind of a raffle every month. So if you want a painting like this, go check it out. Now here you can actually see the finished painting, and now there's a short video where I show you the painting in my studio. So I hope to see you in my next video. I almost forgot to tell you, there is a full painting tutorial on my YouTube channel, and you find a link in description, so go check it out. Okay, welcome to the end of this time lapse. I hope you enjoyed the ride and maybe got some ideas of what you can do with objects. I am using them actively in my work to get better, and it works because I'm training in textures and stuff like that, as you can see here. If you like to support my channel, you can do that by going to Patreon and sign up for $1 or $15 or whatever. Or you can support it by giving thumbs up, leave comments, and share it with your friends on social media and all that stuff. So yeah, that said, hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you in the next video. And stay cool, keep painting, and of course, have fun, live life. That's what I'm doing.